Slowly and gently bring the palms of your hands together at chest level in Namaste. And gently rub the palms of your hands against each other. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. And slowly lower your hands and open your eyes. Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to be together. And I'm so happy to see so many children here tonight. I love that. If any of you children have questions, you are going to get to go first. So just think about it. Be ready if any of you have any questions. First, we start, as always, with a question that comes in advance from our online audience joining us through this beautiful gift of technology. And then we'll open it up to any questions that any of you might have. How to overcome stage fright and underconfidence. This was asked by Anushka Anu on Instagram. So Anushka, you are not alone. It turns out that amazingly the number one fear that people have is actually public speaking. Which is kind of ridiculous because we really ought to be a lot more afraid of things like guns. But when you survey lots and lots and lots of people and do psychological and scientific research on fear, what they find is that the number one fear that people have, more than things like guns that actually kill people, is public speaking. And we've spoken about it in here in the past, in that the fear that we have either is a fear of physical death, so people have a fear of heights or closed spaces or deep water or snakes or, all of the different things that people have phobias of are really linked to things that are harmful to us, things that actually could kill us. The things that so many of us are afraid of, even though they may not necessarily directly kill us, in our minds we think that they might, subconsciously. So for example, people are afraid of taking a risk in the office, speaking their mind, giving a suggestion. Why? Because in their mind, they subconsciously go, I give this idea, my boss rejects it, thinks I'm stupid, I end up getting fired. When I'm fired, then I don't have any more money. If I don't have any more money, then I'm homeless. If I'm homeless, then eventually I die. And so they stay back from taking risks of things that seem relatively harmless because the mind has already gone from offer a suggestion in the workplace to die in a gutter someplace, starving and homeless. But the type of fear that Anushka's asking about, to me, is a much more interesting type of fear, which is the fear, essentially, of ego death. Because we say it a lot. We say things like, oh my God, I was going to die of embarrassment. Now, nobody actually ever dies of embarrassment. Even if you give the worst speech in the world, even if everybody laughs at you, even if they throw tomatoes at you, even if, 1,000 people get up and walk out of a hall, you still don't actually die. All that happens is you feel embarrassed. But we've so closely identified our ego with our physical survival that for a lot of people, ego death is as scary as physical death. So, Anushka, the way to overcome this is to realize it's only the ego. The worst that happens, the absolute worst that happens, is आशीष भैया उनको जरा बता दीजिएगा ना, वो थोड़ा सा बंद कर देना, अपने आप कर दिया करो ना. The worst that happens is you feel embarrassed. No problem. It's happened to all of us. Worst that happens is you think that you didn't do a good job. You forget your lines, you forget your speech. Say something silly, people laugh. It's okay. It's happened to everyone. It's happened to everyone. Do not worry. What you should be much more worried about is not having the courage to actually share your beautiful gifts with the world. And if you have no interest in ever being on a stage and public speaking or singing or dancing or acting or all the things that people do on stages, that's fine. There's no rule that says thou shalt become a public speaker or an actor or a singer or a dancer. There's lots of really, really, really happy, fulfilled people in the world, the vast majority of them, who have very meaningful lives, who never get up on stage and do anything. So it's not that you have to do it, but if you have an urge, a yearning to, because you feel that you have a gift you want to share, then don't let your fear stop you. Then you've got to honor that gift. And if you get laughed at, if you get booed off a stage, or as I said, tomatoes are thrown at you, or everybody walks out, whatever it may be, well, you keep really good company, because Albert Einstein failed math. There's all kinds of great stories of people who became Nobel Prize winners, super, super, super famous actresses, super famous authors whose manuscripts were rejected like 60 times from every publisher they ever sent them to. People who were told, you can't act, you can't sing, you can't play basketball, you can't do math. And then they go on to become Van Gogh or Albert Einstein or some super, super, super famous, brilliant, successful author. So if you've got a calling, your responsibility is not that people should love it. Your responsibility is just you should put it out there. That which people respond to, they love it, they don't love it, that's their karmic package. And this is true for everything in life, not just public speaking. Not just any gift that we're putting out publicly. This is true for everything. We are called in our dharma to be this vehicle, this instrument of the divine flow on earth. And that takes different forms in each of us. It's like electricity comes in different forms based on different things. The electricity comes through the microphone in one way, through the lights in another way, through the camera in another way, through the speakers in another way, through the fan in the summertime in another way. Same electricity. But just because the appliance is different, from when you get sound, from when you get light, from when you get something else, get toast from a toaster, right? Same electricity though. It's not like here's the toast electricity or the smoothie electricity. It's just electricity. One divine flow. But we all get to be different types of instruments. And all we are here to do is to be that instrument. That which happens, people love the toast that you made or they don't. They love the sound that comes out of the speaker or they don't. They love what they see under your light or they don't. That isn't your responsibility. Your responsibility is not their reaction or the fruits of that labor, as Bhagavan Krishna speaks about in the Bhagavad Gita. Your responsibility is just do your duty. Share your gifts, take the risk, have the courage, open your heart. So Anushka, if you are not interested in being on a stage, no problem, don't worry about it. Do whatever it is that you feel called to do. But if you do feel called and you're just nervous, then get yourself up there. No matter how nervous you feel, get yourself up there. And I'll teach you a little secret that I remember being taught when I was 8 years old in summer camp. And the summer camp I went to used to do musical performances every year. And I remember my very first year at camp being in the performance, and we were all very, very nervous, of course. And the director gave us a tip. And the tip was, picture that everybody sitting in the audience is sitting there in their underpants. And if you picture that the audience is sitting there in their underpants, then they no longer seem very threatening. Now, Anushka, I don't know how old you are, and you may be too old for that particular example, but it worked very, very well at that time. But try it. Try it and see whether that makes you feel less afraid to get up on the stage. And if it turns out that you're too old for that particular tip, then when you get out there, just take a moment before you start to speak or sing or dance or whatever you're going to do. Just take a moment and offer a prayer to God that's just, empty me. Just empty me. You flow through me. You be that electricity. I'm just your appliance. And just flow through me. And you know what needs to be done. And then just offer it to the divine. And one last thing, Anushka, is you have to send us all a video of you on stage the first time. Whatever you're doing on that stage, be sure to send us a video so that we can all support you and love it and tell you how absolutely beautiful it is. Wonderful. Other questions? Any question that anyone here has? Yes. You can just go to the microphone there. Javier? Hindi's fine, English is fine, either way.
नमस्ते गुरु माँ जी, मेरा सवाल ये है कि मेरा बेटा स्टडी अब्रॉड करना चाहता था, बीच में उसकी रिफ्यूज़ल आ गई, उसके बाद मैंने बहुत हाथ जोड़े, चलो इसका हो जाए। अब वो चला गया कनाडा, पहले उसको भेजने के लिए परेशानी थी, अब वो चला गया तब परेशान। कोई हल नहीं मिल रहा कि उसको पास बुला के ठीक है या वहीं पे कैसे अपने मन को समझाऊं as a mother.
Beautiful. So I'll just translate the question for those of you who don't speak Hindi. She said, my son has gone abroad to study. She said he really wanted to go, and first when he applied, he got refused. He didn't get accepted. So then I prayed that he should get accepted. Now he got accepted and he's gone and now I'm miserable. And how to, from a mother's perspective, how to take care of that. यही माँ का प्यार और ये मोह भी है, दोनों. As our children grow, as parents, our duty, our dharma is to love them, but to let them go. Meaning, obviously, we're always here for them. We are their love-filled safety net, but not a net that traps them and holds them back. We've got to let them go. And I know it's hard, and that's your love. You've done your job. You've given him the sanskaras. You've given him the values. You've given him the ethics. Now you have to just have faith in that. The best thing to do, honestly, is get yourself really busy doing something else. You're very young still. You've got, I imagine, a lot of skills, a lot of abilities, a lot of ways that you could help others. If we've spent 15, 20, 25 years at home being just a full-time mother, it's very, very, very difficult to figure out, well, now what? But that's exactly what you need to do. Get busy. Use your skills, use your ability, use your time in service of others. Whether it's tutoring children, poor children at a school, whether it's working with women, whether it's working with girls, whether it's feeding the homeless. Whatever it may be, if all you know how to do is cook food and take it outside and feed people who are hungry. So even if you don't have any other skills, cook food, take it out and feed poor people. If you can teach reading, if you helped your son with his homework, if you taught him to read, if you know basic math, volunteer as a tutor for kids in poor areas. We have so many of these, the government Anganwadis, which are the government schools in slum areas, which are fine as far as, a government primary education goes. The dilemma is with kids who are really poor, they don't always get it. And if you don't give them a lot of extra tutoring, they never reach anywhere. So go out and get yourself a job. Volunteer job. Tutoring kids who need extra help. Spend a few hours every day in the afternoons. Or help out and, get a volunteer job helping out in some, NGO or government school or whatever where they're teaching kids. You can come and help out in our schools. But find something to do that utilizes your time and makes a difference in the lives of others. Now you get to be a mother to many, many, many more. Okay? Pray for your son. Just hold him in your heart, hold him in your prayers. But don't call him every 5 minutes. And don't panic if he doesn't text you for 2 hours. You've got to just learn to take deep breaths and set up a time. Cell phones have become great, but they've also become menaces. When I was growing up without cell phones and I was traveling, we had a rule that I would call home once on Sunday evenings. That was it. Sunday evenings, I knew, call home. During the week, nobody worried because she knew I'll call Sunday evening. Now the problem is the mother sends a text message and an hour later they're like, oh my God, koi response abhi tak aaya nahi, kya hua? Mar gaye hoga. And then you panic. Just because you have a cell phone doesn't mean that it should become that chain that makes him stuck. Set a system. Once a week, twice a week. Set a time. And other than that, busy yourself in other areas. If he needs you, you're always there. But don't message him every hour. Don't ask him if he's had lunch or dinner and what he ate every day. Let him be. Or you can ask him, but just don't worry if he doesn't respond. And tell him that it's okay if he doesn't respond. Nahi to he becomes worried, oh, maa ko bahut pareshan ho jayega. I was in the middle of this, my God, message abhi dekha. My mother must be very worried. Then you're sitting here, but you're causing him stress over there. You've managed to project your stress thousands of miles across the oceans. Don't do that.
Meaning, so the first question is there a purpose to life? And if there's no purpose and you just live in the present, and so why was man created? That's the second question. I'm a doctor by profession, and I've lived all my life thinking that touching lives or serving others is the reason that I became a doctor. But what about the karma every patient has to face and go through? So I just keep doing my part, or how do I go about it to think that why was I created at the first place?
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, 3 questions. Living in the present does not mean hedonism and decadence. A lot of people think living in the present means simply eat, drink, be merry. That's not what it means. When we say be in the present, not the future or the past, it's not that the future or the past isn't relevant. It's that ultimately our highest goal of life is what we call God realization or self-realization or moksha or enlightenment. Now that can only happen in the present moment. And it can only happen when the mind is not full of thoughts, of fears, of desires. It can only happen. Yeah. Bhaiya, aap jao. Aap jao. It can only happen when the mind is still. That's why we say be in the present. It's not that the future doesn't matter or the past doesn't matter. It's that all of that which we want to, need to, are born to experience in life can only be experienced when we are in this present moment. That's why we focus on the present. Life absolutely has a purpose. The purpose of life is God realization, self-realization, moksha, enlightenment. But along the way, every minute, every moment, we are being instruments, vehicles, vessels for that divine flow. And by the way, that isn't separate from God realization. It's not, well, along the way, here's what I'm going to do, and then when I get to the destination, ultimately that's what I want to happen. It's not like, well, I'm driving from Rishikesh to Delhi, that's my journey, but along the way I'm going to keep eating potato chips or French fries or even something healthy, salad. That which we are doing along the way is actually that which is preparing us for, purifying us for, readying us for that ultimate destination. And so being that vehicle or that instrument, that total surrender to the divine, is actually the way and the only way that Bhagavan Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita about how to ultimately attain moksha. How to attain freedom from this cycle of birth and death. How to break free from this karmic bank account that we have that makes us keep having to take birth. Well, the only way is that surrender. Well, what does surrender look like in action? We become an instrument, a vehicle, a vessel. It's just, okay, God, here I am. It's what we call nimitta matram bhav. That bhav of being an instrument. And it's interesting because, we reference it in this beautiful teaching in the Bhagavad Gita, but it's actually very, very, very similar, almost synonymous with the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. Oh God, make me an instrument of your mercy, of your grace, right? Where there is darkness, let me bring light. Where there is despair, hope. Same thing. It's a prayer of let you flow through me. Let me stop being an obstacle to your flow. Let me empty myself. That is ultimately that purpose of life. And so along the way, we keep letting go and surrendering and letting go and surrendering. But you can only do that when you are present in the moment. If I'm stuck in the future and I'm thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen tomorrow when I meet those people and that meeting is going to be awful and oh my God. Well, I'm not surrendering. I'm not here now asking the universe how I can be used. I'm in tomorrow. Or even if it's the good side of tomorrow. Oh my God, that's going to be so great. We're going to go out for pizza and it's going to be so yummy. Oh my God, I can't wait to see those people. So even if you're excited about the future, it's still the same thing. I'm not surrendering. I'm salivating over pizza that I'm going to eat tomorrow. I'm not here in this moment. I'm not being a vessel, an instrument of divine flow in this moment. I'm all excited about my pizza party tomorrow. And again, there's nothing wrong with being excited about what the opportunities life is going to offer you. But it's why meditatively and spiritually, everyone emphasizes mindfulness, awareness, consciousness, be here now, be in the present, like different vocabulary used by different systems, but the teaching is all one. And that's because only in this moment can I experience God. Only in this moment can I experience myself. Only in this moment can I actually have real happiness. Because no matter how much I might be salivating over the pizza I'm going to eat tomorrow, it's not actually bringing me happiness in this moment. I've got to be here now to have happiness in this moment. And that's why we live in the present, is for that spiritual and also just purely emotional, psychological happiness and peace. Even if you're not looking for moksha and you're looking just for a nice life, it's still all about right here, right now. Because otherwise we go up and down and up and down and up and down, and we're constantly being thrown around by what happens. Constantly living in the future, not here. So that's those two pieces. And then the last piece in terms of being a doctor and helping people, but what about their karma? So all of their past karma, their past actions, karma means action. So their past actions brought them to the moment where they needed to come to you as a doctor. So whether it made them sick, and by the way, it's important to reiterate something I always say, but since the audience is new every night, karma doesn't punish. It's not about rewards and punishments. It's simply a system of science like gravity. If you walk off a building, no matter what a wonderful person you are, no matter how spiritual you are going to plummet to the ground because there is a law of gravity. It's not that the universe is somehow punishing you. You must be a bad person if you plummeted to your death and, crashed on the sidewalk. The fact that you walked off the building and that there is this thing called gravity is what made it happen. Gravity doesn't punish or reward, it just is, all subject to it. In the same way, that's how karma is. It just is. We get the results of what we do. We get the fruit of the seeds that we plant. And so the fruit of the actions that people did in the past brought them to you as their doctor. You are, in a way, in this moment, you are their destiny of the moment. All of the past has brought them to this destiny of this moment, which is they are sitting with you. They're sick or they're injured, depending on whatever type of doctor you are, but something is wrong or they wouldn't be at the doctor. They're aching, they're ailing, they're ill, based on their past karma. But now, their action is to have come to see you, which means that the fruit of coming to see you is now a shift in their destiny. For the moment that they arrived to you, that was their destiny, to be sick and to have to get to a doctor. But the minute they showed up at the doctor, took your advice, listened to you, followed your instructions, let you treat them, were compliant with your treatment, those actions now give birth to a whole new set of karmic fruit, which hopefully by God's grace and with your beautiful seva is health and wellness and ease. So you don't have to concern yourself about their past karma. That's why they ended up in your lap. Now you only need to concern yourself about helping them bring forth the new destiny through new karma that they're doing. You need to be the one to show them what type of karma they need to do to have a different destiny next week, next month, next year than they have in this moment. That which we've done in the past has brought us here, but that which we do here is creating our future. So you get to play that beautiful role of helping them craft and create a whole new future. Beautiful. And thank you for your work. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening, everyone. And by the way, just should you, by chance, happen to be an eye doctor, we are having a free eye care camp here next week with our Dr. Manoj Patel, who's a very, very, very esteemed and renowned eye doctor from America, and a team coming in from Australia. So should by any chance that be your specialty, or should you want to be part of that camp, the camp is starting in just a couple of days. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. A beautiful day to our family joining us from all over the world. And so much love to you all, and I look so forward to seeing you all again tomorrow night.